Greetings, everybody. Wagwan. So, welcome to another episode of Unheard. You've been with us for what? 8 episodes now. This is our 8th.
Yeah.
And so, we'd love if you've been following, keeping up with what we've been saying and sharing and doing. Just like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Watch and watch again. Leave comments. Ask us some questions.
Tell an enemy, maybe they need it.
Drop a word here and there. Just share, right? And join us as we continue to explore different topics. Yeah, we focus a lot on men because we are men. But at the same time, I think everybody can benefit from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Share your own views. I think that would be very interesting. So again, like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll appreciate it.
He's Verol.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Name Verol.
I'm Jason.
And Jason. We are your hosts for this podcast, Unheard. And we don't shut up. So yeah. So for today's episode, well, the first part really, it was inspired by a newspaper article that was published probably last week.
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
Last week, and then it was followed up with a television interview on
TV at Sunrise, I believe.
no TVJ.
It was TVJ?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it was TVJ for him.
TVJ.
Yeah.
Where Neville and Simone interviewed Carla Moore about it. And the article was entitled Cougars on the Prowl. Pretty much, it was talking about this discovery where older women were targeting younger males as sexual partners, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we want to share our 2 cents, and then we launch into something that I think is very much connected to the whole concept of that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason,
Yep.
older women looking younger boys.
Yeah.
Are older women ever looking yet?
I was already an adult when that happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So technically yes, but I was already an adult.
Say don't count.
No. Not really.
Okay. All right. So the reality is that the feedback or the comments that I've seen in relation to this article or this conversation is that, but I'm not new.
Yeah.
This is going from a long time. I've seen where a person are like, well, nothing wrong with that. They might get stripes, like a medal.
Right.
But the reality is that if an adult is trying to be with a child sexually, that's a problem.
It is.
I'm sure if it were an older man, an adult man, trying to be with
A girl.
a girl child, everybody gonna go against it. Everybody gonna have a problem with it. So
Right.
why do you think it is? It's not so much of a problem.
I think it's just because how society tends to define men. Like, oh yeah, they're like these sexual people who can't control themselves and whereas women, oh no, you see, if they're doing it, no, there must be like a good reason. It must be like some kind of like more altruistic, pure, oh, it's real, like what they're feeling for them, for the little boy is like real affection. When in reality, it's like, is she? She could very easily just be doing this because, yeah, she's just a human being, like men are human beings, and they just have sexual needs, and they're just trying to get it in the easiest, cheapest way possible, and not really paying attention to the impact that it's having on a child who don't have the sexual development necessary to really understand what's going on. And we'll go into all of that later. But just the fact that it's just exploitation, full stop.
Mm. I think too. You said easy target, pretty much. But do you think it's also possible that the older women who are doing these things, going after the younger boys, they are looking at the males in their peer groups and they're like, you don't fit this criteria, you can't stay along, you don't look good,
Mm.
I am not, um,
Or
I'm
you
not
don't trust
attracted
them.
to you, I don't trust you,
They don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe, and so on. So they go for the younger boys where they can have some amount of power,
Mm.
or the older woman has certain resources, money, they have a job, car, and can provide things for the younger boys and get sex in return, which I guess still works out to be power, some amount of power.
Yeah.
And then the younger boys are probably more uh, sexually, what's the word? No.
Experience now?
No, man. The young boys sexually.
Oh, they're not. Oh, okay.
They're not more sexually experienced. The older one can teach them something,
That's what I thought you meant. Yeah.
right? But at the same time, the younger boys have more energy than the older men.
Oh, yeah. And apparently, that's what they were saying in the article. They were saying that the women are going to sporting events, basketball, football, and the children's advocate was saying that is women in their 30s and 40s, and that they've been seeing this behavior. They were aware rather of this behavior for like about 2 years. So it could be possible that it's been going on for much longer than 2 years. And as you were saying before, like people saying this has been happening.
It's been happening. Because I remember in my teenage years hearing peers talking about having sex with older women. And I wasn't 18 yet. I wasn't 16 yet.
I just didn't believe them when they told me. So
Whether or not it's true, it does set certain things in your mind as peers, young ones. So, hold on, you're doing this. And it's multiple persons talking about it.
Yeah.
Also, in addition, does mean in addition.
Additionally,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, we were warned. I don't know if anybody else remembers it, but we were warned about getting involved with older women.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Because of previous experiences that these faculty members had with boys, stressed out because they were having sexual interactions with older women who felt like they owned these boys. Because they're having sex with them, they're giving them different things, money and clothes, shoes, and so on. And then the young man is like, okay, cool, but I also want to have interactions with people my age.
Yeah.
And so if it's found out that let's say they're having a conversation with a girl, another 15-year-old, but there's nothing sexual, they're just friends, right? That's a problem. So the older woman becomes jealous.
You know where I thought you were going to go with that? I thought what you were going to say was, so the boy has like all this experience now, earning stripes, blah, blah, blah. And then he meets someone his own age, and there is never a conversation about consent because there never was one to begin with. He just takes what the lady taught him, thinking that, oh, this is how it's supposed to go, not realizing that it's different for everybody. People have different wants, people have different desires. So then you meet someone your own age, you try something with them, And then what ends up happening is that, oh, this girl actually doesn't like this. But there will never be a conversation had because he's just like, yo, this is how it is. Trust me, I know.
Well, there is that, but when you said there wasn't any consent, and we're talking between the older woman and the younger boy.
Yeah, consent's not the right word. I'm sorry. No, it's not consent. It's the consent might be there. It's just there's no communication on what specifically, what do you like? What do you want to do? What are you open to? That's really what I meant. Sorry.
Because it's like, let me teach you, or let me see what you can do, and I guide you along. But here's why I kind of latch on to consent. See?
Okay.
Based on our laws, Jamaican laws, right? And you get persons who are lawyers, law aficionados can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am on this. The age of consent where you can have sex.
Oh, like that.
Is 16 years old.
Statutory.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Below, if an older person is having sex with
a younger person,
somebody
they
younger
can't
than
consent.
60, technically they can't give consent because even though they say yes, they're not legally able to give you that yes.
Right. Even as psychologists, when we talk to kids, we need informed consent from the parent. Can't just get consent from the child. They might give assent, but not consent. Mm-hmm. There's a difference there.
Mm-hmm. And then persons else may say, all right then, cool. Let me not go below 16. Mm-hmm. But still, there is such a dynamic between 16, 17, 18 and someone who is in their 30s, 40s. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the power play is still...
It's very much there.
You're right, it's very much there.
Because like, even if this person was like legal aged, it's like, kind of how I like to think about it is like, you've been an adult for a couple months. I've been an adult for whatever 40 minus 18 is. Was that 22?
Sure, yeah. Yeah. It is 22.
Right. So it's really just not fair. But you're kind of playing devil's advocate before. Like, I kind of want to go back to that for a little bit. Because in the context where women are going after the younger boys, because they don't necessarily feel safe with men their own age. They don't trust men their own age. They've had all these negative experiences with men their own age, and so now, here's this young guy, and I can now mold him, can groom him into exactly what I prefer, and everything should work out. Of course, it never does. Well, unless you want to talk about like. Anyway, there's a famous example of this that I'm not going to go into right now, but nevertheless, yeah.
Yeah, and I did mention the jealousy thing. I would think it's a huge problem, right? Because 40-year-old getting involved with an 18-year-old. Of course, the question is, what do you have in common? How does that really work? She's sending you to school, or you have to go out and work because now you're a man, you have to do manly things. Mm-hmm. But who is there to show you how to do manly things? Mm-hmm. Are you isolated?
Oh, that's a big one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you not isolated from your peers, from your family? Are you able to do the things an 18-year-old is supposed to do socially, developmentally, because you're still growing, even in your early 20s, right? Are you able, if you like to party, if you're into the social space, are you able to go out as freely as you'd want to, or you have to check in to say, can I go out?
Not to mention the fact that this boy is still growing. He's gonna change.
Oh, yeah.
He has to change. There's no way around it.
Oh, yeah.
So will that compatibility be there? Because even when you have like high school sweethearts, a lot of them don't last because people change. Mm-hmm. So even though the love was there, can't last because people change.
People change. and then saw something. Well, it has long been said that the frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until you're in your late 20s.
Is it 25 for prefrontal cortex?
Well, mid to late 20s.
Mm.
And then there's something I saw the other day. I need to follow up on that. That really and truly you're not considered a full blown adult until you're in your 30s.
Yeah, they keep changing.
They keep on changing.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
legally versus psychologically versus biologically. Yeah.
And so it just calls into question, again, the whole notion of the changes that will be happening in this young person versus somebody who's been through that phase already. Can it really work? Will that person have a sense of autonomy, individuality, and sense of self?
Probably not. Because if the intention going into it, talking to this boy is, I mean, they, like, you know, whether it's cougars or, you know, men doing it, it's really just a selfish thing. So it's not like, oh, you know, deep down, I just really want what's best for you, blah, blah, blah. If you really wanted what was best for him, you wouldn't do this in the first place. Because, like, if you're going to entice them with earning stripes and, you know, oh, here's some money to go and do this, and, oh, we can pick you up and drop you off, Ray. I mean, I don't know. Like, I remember what I saw growing up. I saw older men doing this for teenage girls. And, you know, that's kind of like this, the society basically looks at that and said, no, we're not rate that. We're not like that, we're not support that. But there is a double standard when it comes to women doing the exact same thing. And I do think it is due to that kind of like Madonna complex where it's like, oh, you know, she's a woman. So I can't necessarily interpret what she's doing as something exploitative. And boys wouldn't even realize that it's exploitative in that moment. Right? Some do, but many don't.
And I think there's another thing that I think is important for us to look at, and that is the reinforcement of our fellow male peers when as a youngster, you're with an older woman. Yo, yeah, gee.
That's what they say.
You are able to pull an older woman. That says a lot about you. And then chances are you're being furnished with the latest phone, gadgets. You get a car, you're probably one of the first persons to be able to drive a car because you may not own it.
Yet somehow you're still keeping this away from your parents. You're not telling your parents about that. How strange. Like, you get all this stuff and it seems so great, but why wouldn't you tell your parents about it?
Where are the parents?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Where are the parents? But if the parents are there, you're still not going to tell them.
Or is it a situation where the parents are there, but the parents don't have is power the right word? Or the influence,
yeah.
to kind of give you that reality check. Or you just don't care.
Mom, I love her. You never loved me like this.
Now that you said that, the whole love thing, come to think of it, some of these youths may not even say love. They probably don't even see it as love.
Possibly.
It's just, maybe for some it's just transactional. Some it's just, it is what it is. May I get the things that mama want. All I have to do is just have sex and do this and one too. Life goes on.
But because she's older, I think it's easier for the boy to maybe, not all of them, but for some of them, to look at her like a mother figure. So there's like this weird dichotomy. There's this like weird dual relationship where it's like, you are my sexual partner, but you're also like a mother figure. So no, you're getting like, it seems like the best of both worlds. when in reality, you're kind of walking into a nightmare. Because you can imagine, like, for girls, they're with like an older guy, right? Sexual partner, but also perhaps the father they didn't have, or the father figure that's better than their actual dad. Because they're giving them the guidance and they're giving them the reassurance, but they don't understand that, like, look, this whole thing started off in a predatory sense.
All right. So, persons who are watching or listening, if you have any, we'd love to hear your views. I think a lot of us will have a few on this. Please comment and share it with us. So, Jason. So I think that is just one aspect of our wider problem that I don't think we discuss or we talk about enough of. And that is the impact of our boys being sexualized or being exposed at a very early age to sex and sexual intercourse and pornography and I don't think it's spoken about enough, and how problematic that can be for their own development in its various sense. Right? And I say that because biologically your body is growing, so by the time you're, let's say, puberty starts at about what, 9? Certainly by 12 the signs are there. Your testes descend, you're getting erections, breeze blow and you get an erection, right? The different changes in the body hair, you smell changes, voice. The voice one is a bit traumatic, but the voice changes, and it goes on. But when that happens, there is a sense of, oh yeah, man, no. Do this. You can ejaculate.
Time for the bar mitzvah.
So you can breathe somebody no. Right? A part of puberty is self-exploration. Yes?
Sure, yeah.
And so there's a lot of touching and feeling happening because new things are happening to the body, and there's wonderment, there's curiosity. But I find that in our society, and I was having a conversation about this just on this bit last night, conversations don't happen about sex in the way that I think it should, in a healthy way. Because when things change, when your body is changing, you learn about it maybe at school sometimes.
Yeah, PD class.
And depending on who you have as a teacher, or a counselor, I think determines how much is actually discussed and how much space you have to ask questions without judgment.
Especially based on like the type of curriculum too, because like maybe some would be more puritanical than others.
Right? Because I do, from experience, I know some adults are very uncomfortable talking about puberty and sex and the changes and so on.
Yeah.
Fine. Where am I going with this? I think the ultimate question I think is important for us to look at is, who is the true educator about sex in our society?
You want to just answer the question?
Please let us. What do you think?
What do you think, bro?
I think that some families, they have conversations where they pass down written material.
They pass on written material.
So here, read this.
Was that pamphlet?
or a book. Yeah.
Okay. Big up those families, I guess.
Then you have some schools, it's built in the curriculum, sexual, the reproductive organs in science class, integrated science, first form maybe. Your guidance counselor, if you have PD classes or guidance classes, it may be discussed. Um, but I find that a lot of parents don't sit their children down and have that, especially boys, have that conversation about what it means when you wake up with an erection or what it means when you wake up and there's some sticky residue on your sheets. You have a wet dream.
No, they leave that to school or like birds and bees. Should have thought about that. I don't think they speak English, but fair enough.
It's an interesting dynamic, but I think it's one that needs to be adjusted. Because the reality is, I find that a lot, who the true educator is, to answer the question, the internet and school
And music.
and music. First of all, with music, and I'm not bashing any music genre, I'm not bashing any artist, nothing like that. But I'm just saying that we, from we're young, we're hearing these different songs, daggering, wine up, how much inches of penis a man should have to satisfy his woman, and what hosts we're very descriptive in our language. So the whole act of sex, what it should look like, right?
That's when the vocabulary was just like, oh, I didn't know, I knew all these words. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But then you'll hear as you grow, you'll hear like no, dagger, who.
Yeah.
So
So sex becomes more violent.
sex, there's the violent,
Violence is associated with it.
aggressive.
Aggressiveness is associated.
There needs to
with
be
it.
this level of us. Well, is it assertion?
It's aggressiveness.
Or is
I
aggression?
think it's
Aggression.
yeah. But then at the same time, the parents aren't talking about it, which then kind of illustrates almost like a level of shame.
Shame.
So it's like, because I have had clients where, it's the kid is here, the parent is here, but then there might be like something sexual that comes up, and then it's like, so you talk to your child about sex, laugh, because of course, like it's an awkward conversation because, especially like based on the age, right? It's like this is kind of weird to talk about because parents have relied on schools to educate. But who really is doing the education is exactly as you said, the internet, in addition to music. And that kind of gives rise to, when you see like some of these images sometimes online where here's a little boy, maybe he's at Road March or something like that, or some party or
just
whatever.
some party dance in our community.
Right? Yeah. And he is like, oh, and there's like some girl woman in front of him, and he's whining on her, right? He's trying to just like,
Or she's whining on him.
Technically that's really, she's whining on him because him don't know anything yet. Like maybe he could model what he's seen, but I think too much is going on per se for him to like really and then maybe someone might show him what to do, or then he might follow it or something like that. And it's like that
color thing.
exactly.
So the reinforcement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how. We
And I
see the
think
problem show
too, with that practice, it's just a sign to combat the possibility, of let me rephrase. It's a sign that he's not a homosexual.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Which is for some people, one of the best things ever. All right, you're not gay. All right, cool.
Kill the fattened calf. Yeah.
Right. Then, what I think, I want to leave the internet bit for last.
Okay.
Right? But the peers, when a child goes to school, you have no idea. Some persons have no idea the amount of conversation that happens that it has nothing to do with the formal curriculum.
Or then again, you might know because you went to school yourself.
Mhm. Or you may know, but things sometimes change.
That is, yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
going to school, or kids, they learn a lot through the socialization with other children. I mean, it's a melting pot. You're coming from, interacting with people from different
Different walks of life.
spaces. And so you'll hear things, the different jargons or terms for masturbation. Back your face, jerk off, the different terms used to refer to the anatomy, the penis, the vagina, and it goes on and on and on how to have what is said is the best way to have intercourse, and then possibly leading to this um, idea that sex just looks one way,
Right, yeah.
right? And what it means to be the man in the relationship, and how the man should approach a woman and interact with the woman, the distance, and it goes on. And then we have the internet. Should we? Does it even
I mean, the
require
treasure
us
is
to
it's the treasure
to
trove of porn.
explore, to talk about that? Go on the internet and you'll see things popping up left, right, and center.
Yeah.
The different platforms, gaming platforms or communication platforms, can be hacked, or you have perverts on there and they are doing different things to promote sexual activity to children.
Yeah.
So games, I think you were mentioning Roblox
Right.
earlier.
Right. So basically, there have been some people who have been kind of trying to go into Roblox and they try and find predators to try and expose them because, for example, someone like would create a brand new account, uh, new character, everything, start the game. I think within about 5 seconds they saw a character that was in the shape of a penis. And so even though it's Roblox, so everything looks more pixelated, you still understand like, yeah, but it's in the shape of this, just like everything else is in a shape of whatever. So you recognize what it is. And so there's some people going around just trying to like find these people, expose these people. Roblox like got involved and kind of banned them from doing it. And I figure they did that because they didn't want anyone to expose these people, but that was only making the community less safe, but it also made the news much bigger. And so now even more people were made aware of it. And but this is not new because I think there were other issues in terms of like Club Penguin a couple years ago. It's a whole bunch of things, man. And so you really see just how prevalent sex has become everywhere. So even on platforms like Instagram, for example, where you're not supposed to have like pornography or whatever.
Included.
I guess they don't, but at the same time, it's like you can still find
things that are highly suggestive.
exactly and inappropriate for the young mind in development.
But even on TikTok, there have been
Yeah.
I've seen it pop up on my For You page where don't search for this. Because when you search for it, then
Yeah.
what's popping up is not what you think is going to pop up.
And TikTok is wild, way wilder than Instagram.
So I think as adults, as persons, parents or caregivers of children, guardians, I think we have a role to play not only to have good, healthy conversations with our children, with our boys in particular, be more intentional in teaching healthy development, teaching healthy sexual development and staying safe and having open lines of communication. But also, we ourselves should, I think, become involved in exploring some of these interests of our kids. Where do they spend a lot of their times online, like in Roblox? So yes, it's a wide space Roblox, but at the same time, you can just figure out, okay, they spend a lot of time there. What is it really like, and see how you can help to keep them safe.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
Now, let's go into some of the psychological dangers
Yes.
of
Yes.
early sexual exposure,
And just sexualization.
sexualization, and things like that. What do you think?
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of pressure, just in general, from just as a boy, before you even become a man, just as a boy, it's like you want to be the optimal you. You just want to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. And part of that is sexually. You want to be able to perform a certain way, you want to make girls feel a certain thing, and that does boost your self esteem, I think. But at the same time, if you were if you were made to get ready for sex before it was really time, what may end up happening is that you have this like these notions that you should always be ready for sex. You should never ever turn it down. And also that you kind of think to yourself, oh, you know what? Even if someone was coming to me and I can see that there could be a point of exploitation here that would benefit them, it doesn't matter. I'm a man. Therefore, I am defined as sexually ready, ever. Ever sexually ready. So here comes this older lady. She's coming to me, a young youth. I'm not that young. But me, a young youth, and it's like, oh, so you have all these guys your own age that you're not checking for, even guys older than me that would still be young, but you're not checking for them. You're checking for me. Oh, how lucky. I'm so lucky. Look at, wow. I'm just so attractive, don't? Oh, that's what it is. Oh, well, I guess I just have it like that, I don't know. I guess the guy that's over there who have more money than me or have more whatever than me, more sexual experience than me, more almost everything than me, he's not a good option. You want the young guy who don't really know anything and is still in school and still go to school, still under the parents' yoke. You want me. That makes
Fresh
sense.
meat.
And so because of that, you're not even aware that you're being coerced because of the programming that I'm just supposed to be ready for sex every time.
And that does add pressure,
Of course.
right? As a man, how dare you ever turn on sex?
No sex.
Your brethren them are gonna curse you. What you
Well,
mean?
punk you. Yeah.
What you mean? And then you turn on sex. Let's say you're in a relationship. You stress out, work a mad you, and you still turn on sex. You turn on sex.
You know, man.
You cheat.
Yeah, yeah.
You cheat. You don't find me attractive anymore, and it goes on. But yes, I agree with you. It does set up this expectation that you're ever ready to go.
Yeah.
And again, I think it also uh, create this false notion, false narrative about what sex looks like and feels like, and there's just this one picture of things. And I would also mention, so there's something that you said a while ago, which brings me to a thought I had, that then if that's the case, then men, boys are objects.
Yeah.
You're
We're
just
objectified. Yeah.
you're just an instrument. You're just a penis
You're a
that has
dildo.
blood in it and
Yeah.
not plastic, right? And so you're used, you're discarded, you're controlled, and you don't really have a say.
No.
And the moment you have a say, that becomes a problem. And so, again, definition of manhood is that you have a penis and that's it.
So I'm telling you, man. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of it.
Yeah. And so it does put some men on their guard, some boys on their guard, when they're treated like that. Because what tends to happen is, excuse me, is that for a number of these guys in this position, in this situation, the other aspects of self are neglected.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the emotional side, and as a man, I will never forget the emotional side. The emotional side, the sense of wanting to be seen and held as important, and not just for what you can do, but just because you're a human being. That there's no space for that, and so there's this longing, sense of loneliness, sense of I'm just there. The lack of connection is just not there.
Yeah, and
Well, it is there because it's the lack of.
yeah. But I mean, and the irony is that whatever you think girls go through whenever some older guy is trying to exploit her, it's the exact same thing a boy's going through. It's the exact same thing. So whatever you think girls are going through when they get sexually exploited by men is the exact same thing for boys. It would have to be, for the simple fact that if someone comes along, right, and they have no interest in you as an individual, but interest in like your private parts, then ultimately they don't care about you. They just care about the sex. And if they just care about the sex, once you start to mess that up for them, that's gonna be a problem with you and them. And then they're gonna do the little power play thing. Oh, I'm gonna take this away. I'm gonna take that away. Oh no, don't do that. And then, boom, you're back on the line.
But I also think that is very much possible in relationships where there's no age gap.
Absolutely.
But there's possibly having had exposure from very young, and you're going on, and then some persons, when they get exposed to sex from very young, when they get older, they have no more interest in sex, or they become addicted to sex,
Absolutely.
sexual activities, and that can now increase as they go along because the regular mama papa missionary no work no more, or backshot no work no more.
Some boom flick thing now.
Right?
Yeah.
You're watching pornography, and you're seeing the acrobatics and the different cinematic additions.
So they're seeking out sexual novelty in increasingly dangerous ways because like there's a more thrill-seeking sense.
Become more impulsive, and then that can also give. When you can't get it, what do? Masturbate. Or
watch people doing it.
There's that. Or there's no pairing of masturbation because the girls are not doing it anymore. Or girls are not willing to be acrobats and to do certain things that you see or that you think may get you off or give you fulfillment. So you turn to porn, and then porn is paired with masturbation, which is dangerous waters too, because that can lead to erectile dysfunction, and the list goes on and on and on. So we have to be careful.
You know, I just remember you said something a while ago that just triggered this memory. When players enter the NBA, they actually go through certain seminars where someone will come in and talk to them about the dangers of women, in the sense that because like these dudes are making like multi-million dollars, and there are women who are eager to come in and exploit them, and so whether that could be like they could hit you with maybe like a sexual assault charge, or they just want to just be there so they can just get a payday off of you. Like literally, they have these classes for their players, so that they kind of look out for this stuff. Now, of course, some of them do fall for it still, but at the same time, it's like if you didn't have that education, it would be a problem. But the fact that they felt the need to even do that really illustrates that what the children's advocate was saying is a real thing.
But that begs the question. No, it doesn't. In my head, it means you're just an object. You're just a means and end.
Bro, it's really sad. I'm not gonna lie. And mind you, these are NBA players. They're not minors. At the very least, like 99.99% of them are not minors. They're adults. So they should be mature enough to know how to like sidestep whatever. But many weren't.
But then, look, a lot of us as men aren't. When women come into play,
Head fly out.
we don't think with this one.
No, not at
As
all.
long as we sense that there's some amount of interest, sometimes
You just
our
go.
penis leads away,
There you go.
which messes up things.
Absolutely. But I think also in addition to all of this, like when it comes to like when boys are like sexually active too early, what the research is saying is that it's an increased risk for anxiety, depression, dissociation, which I did not know, hostility, especially when you're like in your mid to late adulthood, so like 50s, 60s, 70s, substance abuse, and also just like sexual dysfunction. So look at the irony of that, right? So because you started off so early, you now have such a warped relationship with sex that you don't even know what gets you going anymore. And if you don't even know that, then, and of course, if you think about it, why is it? Because like what you experienced growing up, if you had it too early, whether that was with someone that was older than you or even younger than you, if you start off too early, right? Whether that's abuse or you someone your own age, whatever, you don't really understand what the hell's going on. You just like it, right? So when we're talking about like how addictions are basically, like we form addictions involuntarily because we're just trying to escape pain. This is a perfect recipe to escape pain because you're getting physical pleasure for free, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I really got it made. When you really don't know that you're actually just increasing likelihood of sexual dysfunction. And then also, and we were talking about this earlier, the David thing, when he was here, he was talking to us, when he was abused sexually, he had those feelings of suicidality, depression, and anger.
Anger was a huge one for David. And you see, I don't think I'll ever stop mentioning this. When where sex is concerned, so whether we like it or not, or we admit it or not, I think sex has a lot to do with connecting, right? And so when there is this lack of true connection, in some ways, respect, I guess, in the whole process, the loneliness is still there. Because I've heard of persons talking about, yeah, I have sex, but it don't really mean nothing. I'm still empty. That's it. I'm still empty once it's done. Yeah. And then I go try to find the next one, and it goes on and on and on. And then it just sheds light on the fact that we need to be careful about. I lost my train of thought. I forget it now.
Okay. Well, no, I can finish it Because like if you're saying that if people are just going about their life just linking up with people, there's that emptiness in the connection.
Right. There's an emptiness right there. And that creates a problem because it would contribute definitely to feelings of possible self-harm, suicide,
Yeah.
rates of depression.
Because if you're not connected, then you're not really aware of what's going on. Your body knows that there's something that it needs. It's like food. If you're starving, if you're thirsty, right? Your body knows there's something wrong. You need some food. You need some water. Because if you not get that, you're gonna starve and you're gonna dead. So similarly, if you are starved for connection, I don't understand how you would then just be like, oh yeah, man, but I don't need that. I'm a social creature who, like growing up as a little infant, if I didn't have my mother or a caregiver there to nurture me and hold me and all these things, problems that. And the research is very clear on that. Right? So there's no way that when you make sex or just have sex, but you never consider the connection aspect, that's just gonna be just some flippant thing. Oh, that's not a big deal. It's not a problem. Impossible. And it's just a delusion to think otherwise. So when you go back to what you were saying before about like the internet and music and just like the culture where it's like, oh yeah, so you're just going to get your stripes. Hold up. Is the stripe the connection or is the stripe a penis and a vagina?
Well, stripes gives some appearance of connection because you're acknowledged. You're
Fine.
acknowledged. But
It's not connection.
what is, as I said, appearance of connection, but that's short term.
Yeah.
That's short term.
It's short term and it's cheap.
Cheap.
Because honestly, right, think of it, right? Going back to the NBA example. Enough of these dudes getting million dollar contracts. Just choose one. They don't care. It's just whatever. And so if you think about it, right, for you to actually have a connection, that's way harder. Because now you need to think about compatibility. You have to think about shared lifestyles. You have to think about values. You have to think about who this person is and their history and what they want out of life and and people not ready for that. But that's the thing. People don't celebrate that connection. They just celebrate the physical connection of just putting a penis in a vagina. Which honestly, how is that really a rite of passage?
I was going to say something else, but let's stay on the safe side.
Okay,
But you see, the thing, it goes back to, again, what we have been taught socially about men and women having sex and so on. We should try and have as many partners as possible. Practice makes perfect.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
Right? So the more sex you have, the earlier you start, you should be able to become a great lion in the bedroom, great sexual partner, and so on. But that doesn't necessarily create space for that true, genuine connection that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it does. But I feel like, and is it at all men are doing this? No, we're talking about those who start out from very early and end up on this pathway of going because of the mindset at the time. But it doesn't mean that you can't change. It is very much possible that you can recognize this now fulfill me no more. But the young, full of life and exploring, all right, fine. But if there can be a point where, and I'm sure many men can identify with this, there is a point where they're like, okay, I meet somebody and there's just that special person and I want to commit to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Some persons say it and they don't commit to that person, but some men do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some men do. So all in all,
You want to talk solutions?
hmm?
You want to talk solutions?
Yeah, what are the solutions? I think first of all, personally, communication, having building healthy relationships in families, parent, parent-child
Mm-hmm.
relationships. Absolutely important, where you can have space to talk about. You talk about puberty, you talk about sexual development, you talk about sex. Age appropriate though, it is very much possible. You talk about relationships, the child having a relationship with themselves,
Yeah.
and creating space for the child to ask questions. I think that's absolutely important.
There was something else you had said, that the parent would have to educate themselves first. Remember?
That is very much true. And I think I was linking it or thinking about the reality that a number of adults don't like talking about sex openly, don't like talking about puberty. Tr- They abhor the idea that their children, their little angels, are growing up. I would say to those parents, one, educate yourself. You went through it. Right? Educate yourself. It's a fact of life. Children are going to grow up. They're going to have these various experiences. And if you can be a safe space for them to come to you and talk about things and talk things through, that would be great. But you'll have to also have the information to share with them and not just rely on school, the counselor, and so on. It's not a bad idea to have a community, like a village of trusted persons,
Support system.
who
Support group.
can help you, right? I remember I saw it on TikTok or Instagram,
Social media.
social media, right? Where Tamar Braxton, the Braxton Family Values, it was a clip. I don't watch the program, but I saw this clip. And Tawanda's daughter had some questions, and Tawanda called all the sisters together and said, well, the child has questions, and I need y'all here to help me deal with these questions.
Interesting.
And the child was given the opportunity to ask questions, right, about different things, right? So I think those things are very, very helpful. You can always go to your doctor, reach out to a psychologist, persons who are safe, school counselor.
Yeah.
Okay? I think these persons are safe people who can assist, even in the church, if there are persons you identify who can share this information and keep it non-judgmental. It's about development. We all develop.
Yeah. I remember when Steven had pointed out like the guidance counselor thing wasn't like the best situation, but he also pointed out that. But I figured that's like specific to, the school or the counselor. But also he was saying that the like people at church, like it might be easier for boys to talk to men
To men.
because of like the porn addiction stuff and that kind of things. And we had literally touched on that a little bit before. If I were to add anything, I think in the case where, well, whether or not a boy is being abused, I think if he's having certain feelings, certain emotions, certain things have happened, it's important to validate those feelings. To try and fix is not the way. To try and judge is not the way. To try and condemn is not the way. To try and understand is probably the best approach, I would say.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because it triggered a thought for me. I can't tell you how many times I've seen boys cringe, or you legit see that they are feeling shame and or guilt. I'm talking like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, having these feelings just because they got an erection. They feel
Oh,
like it's wrong.
yeah. Like you pitch a tent in class and
Right.
yeah.
They feel like it is wrong. When I was a guy, when I was a guidance counselor, this is probably public knowledge by now.
Mm.
I had first formers and second formers. But I interacted with, all levels of the school.
Okay.
But I taught PD classes for first and second form. And there's a point in the year where we had the puberty talk.
Okay.
And I would have boys separated from girls. There was somebody who would come in to talk to the girls for me while I had the boys. And then I had another class where I had a joint class.
Okay.
And one of the things I say to them, listen, we're going to be very honest here. It was very much curated for their age level, but it was very much tapping into their experiences, the objective is to create a safe space for them to talk and ask the questions. Because I said to them, I'd rather you ask me these questions, and I'll give you an honest answer, of course, curated for the space and time and age, rather than you go out there trying to find out on your own, and you're led down a rabbit hole, and you land into problems.
Yeah, that's true.
And the relationship I had with my students, for the most part, I think, was a positive relationship where they felt comfortable enough
That's
to
good.
do that. And so one of the things is, sir, I get, whether they wrote it on paper or they were brave enough or comfortable enough to talk aloud, sir, how do I avoid getting erections in class? I'm not, sir, I promise you, I'm not thinking about sex, I'm not thinking about girls, I'm not thinking about porn. Sir, how it just happens. And we talk about it. We're reasonable. It's normal. Your body is doing a lot of crazy things at
That's
this
good.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
So it's natural for the shame to be there, but at the same time, if only they knew that everyone in the room is
And-
having the exact same experience.
And that's what they realized. They're not alone. They are not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing too is that rite of passage thing, this earn the stripes thing. I think it helps if we kind of like, I don't know, like either get rid of that language or make it into something that make better sense. Because like I think, and I said it earlier, but I think a better rite of passage is having a genuine connection with the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you like, but having a genuine connection.
Genuine, healthy connection.
Right. Rather than just this physical act that could happen to you through abuse or through consent. It's so much more edifying, number one. And number two, I think that when you shift that rite of passage to something that is more edifying, I think society overall just benefits because then they get incentivized to really be like, yo, I want to be in like a relationship or a connection that actually reflects me with someone who understands me and I understand them, and there will be differences, there will be conflict as there will in everything, but eventually we understand that, yo, we have each other's back. And I think that is far better. Far, far better.
And I think the last thing possibly the last thing I'll say is, look, boys, one, if somebody way older than you coming after you and trying to seduce you, trying to get you to have sex with them and you're uncomfortable because your body, you'll know if it's uncomfortable. Speak up. Speak up. You are able to protect yourself better that way And if other persons are like, yeah, idiot or whatever, be the idiot. Right? Um, your health, and it's not just physical health, health in its entirety
Yeah.
is very, very important. Right? We're talking about not just short term here, long term. And I'd also mention that parents, if you see a picnic boy, I come home with things and I never you buy him, and you know you don't have the money for buy game, and you know the money where you are giving for lunch money
You
or
never
pocket
save up for
money,
that.
and no can't cover these things. Investigate,
Yeah.
right? Investigate. Be careful. Protect our boys, please. Protect our boys. We're not objects as men, as boys. We're humans, and I want everybody to remember that.
Perfect. Yep.
All right. So, guys, this is another episode of Unheard, and I think it's an interesting topic we spoke about today.
Yep.
So hopefully you'll find something here or there. If you agree, disagree, put it in the comments. We're open. Let's have conversations there. Share, like, subscribe. We really want to hear from you. So let us know your thoughts on this topic. All right. Take care of yourselves. Bless up. Big up KAHLE Journey. Big up Dr. Katie, Morgan and Associates. Jason, big up yourself.
Verol, big up yourself.
All right, cool. Next time.